a track up ahead.
There's a deer track. It's close. Real close.
There it is. Lily, shoot it. Lion, who's that?
Hi, I'm Lily,
Hi, I'm Dave.
and we're part of Teaching What Matters.
Today, we'll be learning about bows.
This will be exciting. Viewer discretion advised. If you have no sense of humor or if you're allergic to awesomeness, don't watch this video. Hello.
Hi.
My name's Lily.
Hi, Lily.
Hello, my name is
Daisy. I'm Jenny Lee. So we've got a lot going on here. And one of the reasons being, we've been collecting this stuff since the 1950s, when Bosley archery began. We've got a lot of bow kills, as you can see. All these animals were taken with a traditional bow, meaning literally a stick and a string, pretty simple bow setup. You've got a lot of deer, as you can see. You've got a pretty big caribou sitting here. And if you look, this animal was that's the animal represented in this photo. So you can see he's been around a pretty good while. A vintage photo. I believe that was taken in Colorado. And of course, the next thing that you notice are our bows. And if you look here, these bows are going to look quite a bit different from the ones that are on this side of the ring. And the reason being, these are the bows, the first bows that were built by Bob Lee. And you kind of have a timeline here, if you look, to see how the bows changed over the years. And then you switch over to this area. Pardon my junk, sorry Daisy. And you have a different look entirely. So these bows are from the 60s, typically. But these are the first ones that Bob built. When he built this bow, he was sort of a hobbyist. He was building his own arrows, and he thought, you know, I want to try building a bow, and why not? He says he didn't know anything about it, but how hard could it be? So he rigged a press, and he built a bow, and he said he took it out and strung it up, and it worked great. And he thought, there's just nothing to this, really. But the second and third one failed. And then he realized there's a lot to building a traditional bow and doing it right, one that would shoot very well. So he said that this was pure luck. He said, had that bow failed, and by all accounts it should have failed, because he didn't know what he was doing, he said he never ever would have tried it again. But it did make a great shooting bow, so he kept on and kept on. And he kept building, and his models kept, you know, evolving. And this is arguably one of the most popular bows of the 50s, 60s. It's called a Red Wing Hunter. And at the point where his business was at its highest, they were shipping out 300 bows every day. That's mind-boggling, right? He was the third largest archery manufacturer in the world at that time. Now, he was operating under the name Wing Archery. We are now Bob Lee Archery. At that time, he was selling his sticks and strings, his traditional bows, and at some point, I'm going to say the early 70s, the compound came out, the pulleys and so forth. And he wasn't liking the way that the sport was going. So he said, I need to take a break. So he went away for a little while. And then he and Rob decided to start up building bows again in the early 80s. Rob wanted to learn the craft from his dad. So that's how the company got the name Bob Lee Archery. He started up again under another name. So he decided he was going to make a model where the limbs came off. And suddenly you have a three pieces that you could then put in a case, and you could stow it away on the airplane, put it on your seat, and so anyway, he created the first detachable limb trad bow, and this is a catalog page at the time when he rolled those out, and you'll notice the bow was $150, and at that time, all of his constituency, he networked with all these other manufacturers. They said, "Oh, you're crazy. Nobody's ever going to pay $150 for a bow." And of course, he sold a lot overnight and kept selling and kept going. And it was very, very, very popular. So that's what this room represents. There's a lot of history here. 70 plus years, third generation of the Lee family, and we're still going strong.
How do you make your bows?
Well, they go through many, many, many processes, as you can imagine. All we build now are the three-piece bows, the ones that come apart, not a one-piece. And so, what we're building is the handle, and then we build the limbs to go with the handle, and then we put it all together. But we are starting each of these handles as just a chunk of wood. And then we start carving on it, and then we start finessing it, and we start fine shaping it. And then with the limbs, we are starting with wood layers that are glued together and pressed very, very tightly and sort of baked. And through that process, they take on this shape. We put them in a mold, kind of, that shapes them and cooks them to that shape. And then they come out of that process and they start sanding, lots of sanding, and shaping. And that's kind of a simplified overview. It gets a lot more technical than that, because then you've got, all of this, right? With the bolts, we have those that bolt on, and then we have this. Let's see if it will cooperate. Well, that one's not going to. Some of these have been waxed and some haven't. Yeah, this one has. All right, so this is something that we created recently.
Okay.
And it is a quick detach. There's no bolts to fumble with.
That's cool.
Yes, it is cool. So this one, you see, you've got to take your little Allen screw and you've got to remove bolts and you've got to fumble around with that. But this is called our stable lock. And it consists of a metal wedge. It's got these little D10 spring-loaded balls.
Oh, you did?
And all you do is click it in place. So, someone could buy a lightweight bow that they just wanted to shoot targets with, or they could build a heavier set of limbs. The limbs is what determines how hard this bow is going to be able to pull, and how much thrust you're going to get out of the bow.
What are the main differences between the two bows? How do you know which one, what size, what type to get?
Well, the first thing we do when we start deciding what type of bow that a person needs is we tend to ask them, do you see yourself hunting with this bow? Are you a hunter? Or are you strictly a target shooter? Some people want to go out and they shoot, some people shoot competitively, they shoot Olympic style. Some people just go out and want to have fun shooting a target course. Some people hunt. We have a lot of hunting in East Texas. So, once we determine that, that's going to kind of tell us what weight they want. If they're going after a bear, they're going to want a very serious, heavyweight bow. If they're just going to want to go out and have fun with it, they may want something on the lighter side. So, the next question is, it has to do with how long their arms are. And that translates into draw length. So, we want to determine, if you're sort of a short person, you might have a very short, you're not going to be opening that bow up very much. So, if you're a tall person, you may have long arms, you're going to be opening up a lot. That's going to change the thrust of the bow. because you're pulling it back, but it's kind of like a slingshot. You know, if you pull a slingshot halfway back,
It's
you're
not
going to be
shoot very
lobbing
far.
that rock, you know, just a little bit. But if you pull it way back, you're going to get more thrust. So these are all things that we take into consideration. So when someone comes in and they want to get fitted for a bow, the first thing we're going to do is take them out to Target with a bow in hand. We're going to kind of guess what we think is a good fit just from looking at them. And we're going to let them draw, and we're going to measure. We're going to take some measurements, and we're going to fit it to them. And so that's how you decide. It's all about the purpose that you have, in, you know, your intention of how you're going to use your bow, and then your physical being, tall, short, how strong you are, any kind of issues you have with weakness in your hands, your shoulders. So we can factor all that in.
I was wondering, could we go back and see the targets, maybe shoot a little bit?
You're talking about outside? You can, absolutely. Let me grab Rob, and we'll do that.
Can you explain a little bit about how to shoot and some basic technique?
Sure, sure. Obviously, this is a bowstring. These are what are considered silencers, and what they do is they take the twang, the noise out of the bowstring. If you don't have something on your string, then it kind of sounds like a guitar when you pluck it. And most people, not all people, they hunt with a bow like this. And when you're hunting, you don't want your equipment to make any noise at all. This is a bow quiver. It mounts on the side of the bow. These are all target arrows. They have the regular target points on them. If I was hunting, I'd have a different type of point on there. When you go to knock an arrow, on our bows, we knock in between these two tied knock sets. That's called knocking points. And what that does is that aligns the arrow with a string. And if you'll notice, you may not be able to tell, the knock end of the arrow is a little bit higher than the point end. And what that allows to happen when you shoot the bow, these feathers have to come over the shelf on the bow, and that keeps the arrow from porpoising, kicking when it comes off the bow. There's two different styles of shooting. One is considered 3 fingers under, which you put all 3 fingers underneath the arrow. There's a split finger, which 1 finger goes over, 2 fingers come under. I choose to shoot 3 fingers under. I just think that it's a more accurate way to shoot. When you hold your bow, I don't really grip my bow. I just put my hand into the bow, let my fingers come around enough that when I shoot the bow, it won't drop out of my hand. To me, it's better to let the bow do what it's going to do when it goes off. Anchor point is when you draw. It's a point that you find on your face, whatever's comfortable to you. I anchor with my pointer finger on my eye tooth. Whatever you do, you have to do the same every time if you want to be accurate. A lot of shooting a bow is muscle memory. So when a person is first starting out, if they start out with correct form, it's a lot easier to get accurate quicker. If you don't know what you're doing and you have a bunch of bad habits are hard to break. This is a shooting tab. You can shoot with a glove. I like a tab better. When I put my tab on the string comes up to this. The string is basically going in these first grooves of my fingers. I get my tab set the way I want it. I get my hand placed on the bow the way I want it. And then you just draw and shoot. If you stand where you're in line with a target and you draw your bow, the triangle that your arm makes, the string is very close to your arm, and you're subject to hit your arm. If you'll bring this foot back just a little bit, then when you hold your bow, you can see that this triangle here that it makes is farther away from my arm. The only time I ever put an arm guard on is if I have real bulky clothes. You ever hit your arm?
Yeah, like when I first started out with this,
Yeah.
I hit it often, and so
So-
I had to wear the guard.
You want to try to come to your face with the
Okay.
bowstring.
Keep it very close.
Right. You really need to have a point on your face that you touch with one of your fingers. You might try your pointer finger here or middle finger here, corner of your mouth.
Okay.
There you go. You're going to come straight to your face, middle finger right in the corner of your mouth. A lot better. Look, you got him. You want to be able to look down that shaft and it be pointing at what you want to hit. If it's not, you're not going to hit it. Much better. Look at there. When you're shooting a bow instinctive without a sight on the bow, you want to keep both eyes open. Your dominant eye is the one that's going to do the aiming for you. Your other eye is determining how far that object is from you. So you want both eyes open.
Okay.
So try that and see what it does for you. Think about what you're going to do. When you draw your bow, you're coming to the corner of your mouth. And both eyes open and just focus on what you want to hit. Very good.
Thank you very much for taking us out here and helping me with my aim.
Absolutely. I enjoy trying to get youth into archery. Archery is a sport that you can enjoy your whole life. I mean, I'm 69 years old, started shooting a bow when I was 5. I think I like it more today than I did at any other time in my life. It's when you shoot a bow, if you pay attention to what you're doing, that's the only thing you're thinking about. Whatever else is going on in your life goes away.
Thank you for letting us